All right, Assalamualaikum and very good day. Good morning, everyone. So this morning I want to give you some lesson regarding new topics. And this morning I want to cover two topics, chapter 7, also chapter 8, that reflect to the same things, which is the introduction to programming. For chapter 7 is an introduction to programming. So in this lesson, you will be introduced with the language for the programming this semester, which is C programming, and some kind of a history. What is a history of the C programming, and certain of the information regarding the keywords and identifier of the C programming. So in the next part of this lesson, I will try to cover for the chapter 8, which is on the input and output. And I would like to combine these two chapters in one lesson because it's very related each other. Okay, I can combine with three chapters in one lesson, but I don't want to make it like that because I want to make it a step-by-step lesson for those who don't have any programming language at all. Okay, so if you still remember my survey before we start our week on week 1 or week 2, I can say that more than 65% from these group sections have programming knowledge, especially in Java. So I need to have, even though 65% have programming in knowledge, so I need to assume that all the student in this class doesn't know about regarding the programming itself. Okay, to be fair, those who don't have any knowledge programming, so I need to treat all the student zero programming at all. Okay, so we move on to chapter 7, which is on the introduction to programming. So this chapter outcome is to enable students to demonstrate an ability to use a programming tools to execute a simple program and also apply basic elements, which is a preprocessor, directive, header files, identifier, reservoir for a simple program. So in this lesson, I will give you some sample of the programming in C programming, okay? And I will share you the two programming tools that is very useful for the students. And one programming tools that I frequently use is CodeBlock. It's a you can install and download this software in your machines, either MacBook or Windows, can be downloaded as well. And there is one programming tools, and this programming tools is not limited to C programs only, but it covers a lot of programming language. For example, C++, C, Java, what else? Python, Ruby, and so on. And the name of the software and the name of the platform is Replit. If you aware regarding this platform, okay, is the name is a Replit. Later I will try to share you how to use that one, and it can be used in order to collaborate with among your group members for your mini project. It's very useful. Okay, so programming in a history is that, so we have certain terms in computer that we call as a program and also the programming. Okay, so a program is a set of instructions that can do a specific task. Okay, so in terms of the programming itself, as programming is a language in order to do the instructions we want to do. For example, okay, I want to calculate two numbers. This is the line that in order to num1 plus num2 is the instruction to do the calculation of two numbers by using a programming language, right? So this statement of num1 and also plus num2 here is instructions that need to be converted into the binary language that can be understood by the computer. Remember that, okay? So the computer only understand the binary 0 and 1 only, okay? For us as a human, we know about the English words, Malay language, okay, whatever language that we know, there is a human language which is can be understood by the human only. Okay, don't imagine that robot can understand the language, okay, daily language as Malay and so on. But the robot need to convert the speech from the others into the binary language, which is, can be understood by the machines. So the programming language can be divided into three levels. Okay, the first level is a machine language, which is only 1 and 0. Okay, and this one you will learn in the other subject, that is COA, computer architecture, or data communications. And the second level is assembly language, is much more higher compared to the machine language. Okay, and the highest level language, we call it the last one here, is a high level language that we will cover in this morning. Okay, so C language, Python language, C sharp, C++ are the high level language that available nowadays. So what is a machine language? As mentioned just now, machines only understand about 0 and 1 only. So what is 0 and what is 1? So that indicate something that we do some the multiplication of programming machine language that refer to something else. Okay, so you know about a bit and also bytes. Okay, remember that 1 byte is equal to 8 bits. That 8 bits is need to be converted into hexadecimal. Okay, and then can be understood by the assembly language and then being transformed into high level language. So assembly language is one level above machine language, that it's assembly language and not in binary. Okay, so it is English words are translated into machine language code, which a language translating program. So if you want to go more detail, this language is much more harder compared to the as high level language.
Sir, sorry
Okay,
sir.
so
Ada orang
yes,
nak masuk kelas.
yes.
Ada orang nak masuk Google Meet.
Then okay, okay. So I continue again. So high level language that will be covered in this morning, which is a C program actually. So instead of C program, a C language, there's a lot of programming language available, like a C++, C sharps, Fortran, COBOL, Python, okay, are the programming language available. So right now, that's why we need to learn pre-programming, because C programming is very early programming before the emerging of the other languages like Java, C, and so on, right? So in order to learn programming, some university they enforce to use a C and also C++, because this is a fundamental of the programming, meanings that when you master this language, you don't have any problem learning other languages like C sharps, Python, whatever, and so on, because the the language is just the language is different. We call it as a syntax is different, but the structure and also the logic of programming is the same as well. Okay, so why we need to use C? Okay, I don't want to talk lots of this one because C is very well known. It's very fundamental, and C can interact with the machines. All right. So you can do like IoT project, because IoT using the C language, it can interact directly to the circuits and also the machines. Okay, right. So programming environments. So modern world of highly technology and computer use a computer, business, industry, research, and so on using the C program. Okay, so there are two components in C program environment, which is a language and also libraries. Okay, what is the libraries and also what is language? So right now we're going to use a C language, and later on we're going to see the libraries that inside the C environment programming. Okay, to be basic for the structure of C program is look like this. We have a preprocessor directive. If you still remember regarding the include stdio.h, that one is referred to the preprocessor directive. And then we have a global declarations regarding the functions declaration, variable global declarations, and define global variation. This will be placed in this area. And we have an integer main. What here we call it the main modules, or the other words, the main function that will be executed by the C program first before it execute any modules. Okay, so and we can have another function as required, and this one will be called as a user defined function. It means that the programmer itself is designing its own functions. So this is a basic code for the printing a line of text here by using a C program. Okay, so we have a line number one is a comments. So this is one example if you want to do some comments, and these comments is not being executed by the C program. And comments is very useful. Okay, it's very important for the programmer to do some notes. Okay, let's say you have a group of members for the mini project, and you want to share your codes with your other members. Okay, so your members will understand your code based on your notes given in the program here. For example, here a first program in C. Okay, I know that this program is referred to the very simple program in C. And then this line number two is a directive to a C processor. It's not like you need to have a full sentence of the English words here, but it can be understood by the human itself. Okay, so include, okay, hash symbol include stdio.h refer to the directive preprocessor. So integer main void is a function main begin program execution. Okay, line number 7 here is a printf. Printf here is a function, meaning that it's a built-in function in order to display a text in the command prompt. So line number 8 here is a return 0, which is indicates the program ended successfully if this statement execute. So later on, we're going to see about what is return 0. And then we have an integer main bracket here or parenthesis here referring to the same block of the module. And this is another example for this one. Okay. To print out a message, a hello class of semester 1, 1890. And this one is a preprocessor directive regarding to the include stdio. And this is the first statement executed by the compiler, meaning that whenever we run the program, so if we look on this one first, if you don't have this one, you cannot implement the printf function, because the printf function is belong to the library of stdio.h. Okay, so how we can design the preprocessor directive here? There is two ways. Either you can use a double quote like the first one here, or you can use the greater or less symbol stdio.h. So what is different? So the difference is that it's only the symbols here. So but the implementation is still the same. So another example is look like this one. Okay. So instead of we have stdio.h, we can use stdlib.h. That referring here, we calling all the libraries in the C languages for the C languages instead of we are calling one by one packages. Okay. Something like we have a car. Okay. We have a part, a components in a car. So imagine that stdio.h here is engine, for example, it's actually engine. Okay. And another one, something str for the string is like a windshield, another component. But stlib here is one complete car with multiple of components. Okay, you are calling all of it together in one program. Okay, just to remember that this one for your knowledge, we can call all the components or all libraries in the program, but not all the libraries being used in the program itself. Okay, so you need to understand this one, okay, because it's reflect to the size of the file. If you call all the program, all the libraries, it will edit more files or more bytes in your file. Okay, so what is the integer main? This one is indicates the main is a program building blocks that we call as a functions. Previous lecture I already mentioned regarding the modules and the functions. So this is a function here. So it will do a specific task of the program. So every program in C begin executing at the function main. Whatever you do the program in C, make sure that the name of the function main is exists in your program, because you run the program, the compiler will look on this function first. Okay, like a head of the functions, like a head of the program. Okay, what is the main? Okay, this one is main. So this is the statement of the main, and this one. So the keyword integer to the left of the main here, this one, line number 5 here indicates that main returns an integer. Okay, an integer. So right now we have a line number 9 here. When we do, when the C program execute, it will look line by line. Line number 5, 6, 7, 8, and then doesn't have any error, and then it will return 0. 0 here is a indicates the integer data type for this menu. What is this statement? Okay, so what is statement here in this one? Right. So identifiers, and normally we call as a variables. Okay, instead of the variables, we can set the identifier as a function and also the structure as well. So the identifier for this line is integer number, which is the number here is the identifier of a variable, which is data type is integer. So this is how we interpret this line, integer number. It's a variable, of course it's a variable, but this one is an identifier, which is a variables that denotes as an integer data type. Similar as a class here is also identifier, which is denoted as a variable of data type integer. So there are two categories of identifier, the standard identifier and also user-defined identifier. What is standard identifier? So like I mentioned just now, identifier is reflect to the variables, functions, and also structure. So one of the example of standard identifier in C program is a printf. Okay, printf is a reserved word that you can use this printf name as a variable. Okay? So we have user-defined identifier, which is a variable, a normal variable, and also constant. So remember regarding the variables here, Value may change during the program executions. For example, integer number, identifier number, variables of data type integer. And remember regarding how we can design the identifier. Okay, and this identifier reflects to the three elements just now, which is a variable, how you can design a good variable name, how you can design a good function name, and how to design a structure name. So for example, this is a valid and also invalid name. I don't want to give more example this one because we already touched this one in the previous lesson. So there are two ways in order to define the constants here. Okay, by using the constant syntax and also by using the define syntax. Later, I will give you a very simple program and how you can define constant as well. Define a default value. So this is an example of the constant here. So the constant value with data type integer and the identifier of variable A and so B. So integer constant integer A here we don't have any value, meaning that the default value of the variable A will be 0. Okay. Then a constant integer B is equal to 12, meaning that we set the default value for identifier variable B of integer is 12. So imagine that in our real life, we have a default value. For example, a pi value is equal to 3.1425. Okay, and we use this pi value for the multiplication and so on. Imagine that we do some exercise in the previous lesson, like a discount, what else, rates, and so on, can be one of the example in the constant value. And another one here we call as a define. Okay, so this is a way how we can use, how we can declare a constant identifier. Okay, num 25. Okay, we define this identifier num without any data type, but it will reflect to whatever the default value we want to set here is 25, and we define 25 here automatically as an integer. We can define another thing. We can define pi greater or equal 3.1425 as a default value for the pi variable. We have an integer constant, like a decimal constant, octal constant, hexadecimal constant. And normally we don't use this one for C programs in these subjects. We have a string constant here. The string constant are the constant which are enclosed with the pair of double quotes. Okay, remember that. In order to set a strings here, or we call it as a multiple of character, we need to close this string by using the pair of double quote marks. For example, we have a quotes here. So first is opening quote and close is a double quote here. Okay. So now string constant is look like this one. String constant of white spaces here is like look this one, and it's a string constant having a single character. And throughout this lesson, I frequently use a string and also a character, multiple character. Try to absorb these the terms. Whenever I call it a character, it's only one character. Whatever I call it a string, is multiple of character. And we have a print string with a new line. For example, here C is fun slash n. Okay, so slash n here is a syntax that indicates a new line in your string. Okay, so there is some common escape sequence. It's very useful in order to formatting text. We have a slash n, slash t, slash a, double slash and slash double quotes here that represent a specific function of it. Slash n for the new line, slash t is a horizontal tab, slash a is elite, meaning that when we type down this slash a in a printf functions, it will come out a sound based on your system machines. Double slash here will insert a backslash character in the string. For example, if you want to display a backslash in a string, so you need to use a double slash here. So it is a keywords, or another one is a reserved words. You can use these reserved words in a variable's name. Okay, let's say for example, I want to use auto integer auto equal to 10. You can use keywords auto as a variable names, as a user-defined variable names, because this keyword is a reserved word for the C program. Instead of auto, we have a break, case, char, continue, do default, and until unsigned volatile here. Okay, so data types we already covered. We have several data types. We have fundamental data types and also directive data types. So for your level, this subject we cover only for the fundamental data types, and directive data type will be covered in the programming technique and also data structure. This one, and I would like to give you some example instead of giving a slide here. So for your level, you can try to download the software that we call as a code block. Okay. So right now I have a code block in my machines. I just search in my machine code block, and I already open this one. So this is the interface of the code block. Okay, and this software is free, can be used in a Mac and also in the Windows environment. So firstly, how you can use this code block is that you need to create, either you can create a file or you want to create a project. But for me is that for fundamental, I would like to suggest you to create a new file first instead of a new project. Of course, you can create a new project here. Okay, so a new project here it can be used for your mini project. Later, I will give you some instruction how you can create a new file and also a new project, especially for your mini project. So how you can create a file here? So you can click on this one is a file, new, empty file. So right now I want to give you some briefing how you can type a C program from the scratch. So you need to use this empty file. Okay, for those who don't have any programming language, this one is necessary for you to follow. Okay, so right now I have a blank space here. So everything, the code will be inside this file. Noted that the file will be untitled one. Okay, so we don't have any specific colors for the code syntax here because we did not save this file as a .c file first. Okay, so in order to have some syntax colored for the C program, so it's better for you to save the file. Right click here and save the file, and you can place the file in any way. For example, here I want to make it like hello world one. For example, this one is just example. Okay, so right now you can see here the line number will be the green here, meaning indicate that anything reserved word, for example, constant will be highlighted as a blue color. Whereas that is automatically as a result for, let's say, for example, integer, character, break here. Now, because of what, we already saved this file as a .c. Okay, so how we can create a new program by using this software? Okay, so you notice that I can increase and decrease the size of the text here. So the trick is you need to press the control keyboard and you need to use a scroller in your mouse. Okay, scroll down to increase the size of the text. Okay, press the control button together with the scroller mouse. Scroll up is decrease the size of the text. Okay, this one is very useful because any single semicolons missing in the code will give errors in your program. Okay, so right now empty. So how we can create a file here? So remember that we need to have a header file in as will be firstly executed in the program. So what is the header file here? Is hash symbol include this symbol stdio dot hash. Done for the header file. So this header file means if you don't that if you don't have this line, this statement of header file, you cannot use the printf function because the printf functions belong to this library. Standard input and output. Printf is one of the functions for the output purpose. Okay, you notice that I'm using a command here, backslash. Okay, okay. This one is a slash, double slash, header file. So meaning that whenever we run the program, this line will not be executed by the program. It will remain as a command in the your script here. So now this integer main, right? Curly bracket, enter. So just leave like this one, or you can keep like this one is okay. But I would like to keep the program look like this, meaning that the opening curly bracket for this block for the function is right after the parenthesis. Okay, so remember that this block needs to be balanced. Okay, you cannot have only one curly bracket. It will give you a red highlighted here, meaning that you don't have another pair of this curly bracket. Okay, so all the statement will be inside here. Okay, statements, variable declarations. Okay, what else? Calling functions can be placed in this area, line between line number 4 until line number 8. All right. So right now we want to display a message of hello world. Printf double quote hello world. Then okay. So before we run the program, make sure that every statement for the printf here must have the semicolons. That indicates the end of the statement for line number 5. Okay. And since we are using integer as a return value here, we need to have another statement that we call as a return 0. This one. Okay. Check the code, save the file. Now how we can run the program? There is two ways in order to run the program. Either you can compile it first. Okay, sorry. Either you can compile it first, or the word is build. Is try to find any errors. So there is one panel here, very useful. Okay, what is the benefit for using void? Okay, right. So later I will explain what is the statement of void here. Just to keep follow the instruction that we have here, and step by step I will give some instruction what is the purpose of void. Okay, so we can build, doesn't have any errors here. Okay, so this is we call as a build message. Any errors that we do in this program, for example, I remove one semicolon in line number 5, I build, you will have an error. So this code block will expecting errors of semicolons before returns. Try to look here before returns. Okay, remember that the programs will execute line by line. Here, 4, 5. Look here. Oh, did I missing semicolons here? I forgot to put semicolons here. You build it again. Okay, no, zero errors and zero warnings. So meaning that you can compile and run the program. Okay, once you're built, you can run the program by clicking on the green rectangle icon here. So hello world. So why I'm using hello world here? Because if you learn fundamental of programming in other languages, hello world is very popular. Okay, so back to your friend's question just now. What is the benefit of using void here? The void here means that we don't receive any value or any parameters to the main functions. Okay, remember that we don't receive any values to the main functions here. Instead of we put a void here because we don't receive any parameter or value to the main function, we can just leave it empty like this one. And empty parenthesis here also refer to the non-passing parameter, or in other words, it's a void. Okay, so even you can build this program, there is no error, run the program, you can run the program as well. Because basically, we put void here, doesn't receive anything. Okay, we place this parenthesis without any void, it's also empty. Okay, so you will learn regarding the void and also passing parameter in the programming techniques. Okay, and that one will reflect to the functions and also module, meaning that you need to create your own functions in order to receive or pass parameter back to the calling function as well. Okay, right. So we have one block of main function here, line number 4 and until line number 8 here. Okay, be careful regarding this one. We have what we call a global declaration. What the meaning of the global declarations? Okay, so global declaration is that if you declare one identifier of variable, let's say for example integer x is equal to 10, okay, with the semicolon here. So the x here is a global variable that can be accessible in the main functions. Let's say you have another function here. Let's say for example, hmm, display something like that. Okay. So the x can be accessed from here in the display function and also in the main function. Because you let this variable to become a global, it can be accessible in any functions or any modules. So this is what we call as a global declarations. Okay, so back to the global declarations. So inside here, global declarations, you can declare anything. But remember that whenever you declare a global, it can be accessible, it will reflect to the security purpose. Okay, so you want to make this variable accessible to the all variable, or you want to make it this variable only applicable within its own functions. Okay, so that one you need to remember this one. Okay, right now how we can define a default value, we can define like this one, define like pi 3.12425. Okay, so this one is one of the declarations similarly as we declare a variable. Pi is a variable name, okay, and the value is will be 3.1425 without placing the semicolon at the end of this one. Okay, just leave it like that. So instead of we declare by using a define syntax, we can declare like this one, constant, constant, integer. We need to specify the data type of the constant value here, and we can a equal to n, for example, semicolon. So this is the way how we can declare a constant, another one. And this constant integer a, variable a, data type is integer, can be accessible in anywhere in this program. Right? Okay. So hello world. So right now I want to give you some example how we can format our text here by using a escape sequence. For example, slash n slash p slash ts and double slash is this one. We want to see the what are the differences if we have this one. Okay, let's say I want to have a slash n. I run the program again. So build and run. If you want to build and run together at the same time, click on this icon. So this one, hello world, it will end it here. But if you want to put slash n at the end of this character, build and run the program, you will see that there is one empty line here. That indicates a new line for this one. So this is very important if you want to design a good display for your program. Okay, don't put your program here like without any spaces. That make difficult to read for the user. Okay, let's say for example here, if you put another slash n here, you will create two new lines, 1 and 2. Okay, so let's say I put another text below of the hello world here by using the printf functions, parentheses, double quote. My name is Muhammad Zamri Osman. Right? I run the program. Sorry, semicolons. So I have a formatted text here. Hello world. My name is Muhammad Zamri Osman here. But instead of we do two lines by using two printf here, we can just place this text into this one here directly into a single line. So meaning that hello world, first line, new line again, the text my name is Muhammad Zami will be placed in the second line. Okay. So in programming, we don't have any what you call fixed solutions in order to have an output. Okay. So we can do like this one, or you want to do like this one. Both of the script will have the same output. Okay, so basically it depends on your logic. you already know regarding the basic concept of programming. Okay, I want to do like this one. I want to have like this output by using this instruction, okay? But you still get the same output. Okay, so right now I have a variable and also a value here by using a define and a constant, integer, and so on. So in this lesson, I will try to give you how you can use an input-output knowledge in order to display the value from these declarations. Okay, let's say for example, the output will be pi value is 3.1425. Instead of we fix the value in the string, we can call again the pi value here, sorry, the pi identifier here that store the value 3.1425 to be displayed by using the printf. For example, pi value is something, something, something. Whenever we run the program, okay, let's say this one. So pi value is something. So this something here, blank here, I want to make it 3.1425, which is being stored in the pi value. So how we can do this one, okay? So you want to place the value here. So we need to use percent %d. Percent %d here is a modifier that reflects to the variable pi. So in this variable pi, sorry, it's the percent %f that refer to the floating number. It's a real number. So 3.1425 here is a real number, comma. So right after the double quote at the end here, you need to put a comma here, and this is the variable that we need to call. Okay. You double click here, this one is reflect to this one. Right. So why I run the program? So you got output 3.12500. Where this 00 is comes from? Okay. So this 00 here is we call a single precision number by using the percent %f. It's a floating number. Remember that. So the floating numbers we have a float number, we have a double number. Okay. So based on the name of the data type, we have floating. We call it a single precision. It's until precisely this floating decimal number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So compared to if you want to use a double, is a double precision compared to the float. Okay, how we can call it for the double? You can use it by using the long float here. Okay, so I don't want to use it one, so I want to use a percent %f that remains as a 3.1425, okay, as a the value. Run the program. So this is what you got. My value is 3.142500. Okay, so let's say you want to make this output is equal to pi value is instead of 3.142500, I want to make it 3.14 only. 3.14 only. So how you can design this one? So you can modify the format in the format modifier here by using float 2. Two decimal number 3.14 only instead of we accepting 25 at the end of the value 14, right? So 3.14. So this one is very useful if you want to do the calculations like price calculations. Okay, so we don't want to accept too precise until 6 decimal numbers as a default in the floating number. Okay, right. So right now, I want to show you about regarding the local declarations. As now, the pi value we retrieve from the global declarations. Okay, let's say I want to print out all the values here. Constant integer a. I want to place it right after the pi value. Printf constant value of variable a is, since a here we declare as a data type integer, we need to use %b. Okay, %b, comma, variable a. Now we run the program. We got a value. Constant value for variable a is 10. All right. So can we change the constant value or the default value of a here? So we cannot change it, right? So we need to be fixed in our case study. We need to define. We need to have a identifier which identifier or the variable is a constant that will not be changed throughout the program. So let's say this one. Okay, I'll give you something like rate. Okay, something like rate. Okay, rate. Okay. So instead of by using a percent here, D here, that refer to the decimal, okay, we can use percent I as an integer as well. It will give you the same output. It's up to you if you want to do percent I or percent D. Okay, it basically depends on the programmer itself. Okay, okay. So here this one, okay, display value from the global declarations. All right. Okay. So this is how we can display a value by using the from the global declaration. Right now, I want to use a local declaration. Okay. Local declaration. So imagine that I want to have two numbers here, integer a, and let's say I want to put number. Oh, sorry, age, and also character. So salary. Okay, minus one. Okay, so age and salary here is the identifier of variables denotes to the integer and also floating data type. So this is a direct declarations of local declaration, meaning that age and also salary only can be used in the main functions only. Okay, so in this one, integer age here we declare a variables, and whenever we declare a variable here, actually we create a memory storage that will have a value in your machines. Okay, and that storage will have the address of it. Okay, each variables will have the address, and the address will be point to any value. Okay, right now we don't have any value, so let's say we want to display these values. Okay. Your age is, okay, let's say this one, since this one is an integer, %b, age, and I put the slash n here. Okay, the printf again. Your salary is, okay, since I'm using the float here, percent f, and I want to format it into two decimal number only, dot 2f, comma, salary. Okay, right now we don't put any values assigned to this variable. We run the program, no error and so on. Okay, and okay, right. So this is a global declaration, and this one is a local declarations. Can you see here? Even though I don't assign any value or for the age variable, and also the salary here, the program will display a value itself. All right, so what happening here is that, so we don't assign any value. So as I mentioned just now, so age here is the variables. The variables will have the address that point to the value. So since we don't have any assignment of this variable that have a value, the program will try to find any garbage value. So 108 here we call as a garbage value. Any numbers that can be pointed to this variable. Okay. But if we set here assign a value, let's say 33, we run the program. So this variable will point to the value of 33. Okay. So be careful regarding this one. If you assign any number and if you don't have any number assigned to any variable, that will reflect to the garbage value. Okay, we set the salary equal to, let's say, 5,000 cents like that. Okay, so I have a value. Your age is 33. Your salary is 7,520 cents. Can you want to make it to three decimal number? So just replace 2 to 3. It will give you precisely three decimal numbers, right? But normally we use a two decimal number for the salary. Let's say here I want to put RM here. Okay, so the text that we print out, your salary is Ringgit Malaysia 7,520 cents, right? Okay, so right now this is example of the code that I already cover regarding the preprocessor directive, or we call it a header file, global declarations by using a defines and also constant. Instead of we can use a define as a constant syntax here, we can declare a normal variable, let's say integer, x equal to 100, for example, with semicolons, and the x here will be applicable, can be accessed in any way within this program. Okay, right. We learn regarding the integer, and so the main functions here, with or without void is the same thing, and we have a return 0 here. Return 0 is indicates we are returning the decimal number that reflects to this integer data type back to the program again. Okay, so far, is there any questions before I move to the last part here, that which is the inputs?
Sir,
Yes.
saya try tulis juga kod ni. Lepas tu dia tak boleh nak tekan build dengan run tu.
Sorry.
Saya dah try tulis kod yang saya buat ni kan.
Okay.
Lepas tu saya tak boleh tekan build dengan run tu. Dia macam froze. Maksudnya kenapa ya sir?
Okay. Later I go back to your problem later, because I want to share you one online compiler that you no need to install the code block in your machine. You can run it by using the internet only. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, right. Okay, so instead of by using the code block here, I want to share you one very useful platform. Okay. We call it a red. Okay, some of you said, sorry, string is not a data type. So how we declare variable string in C language? Okay, very good. So the instruction I give here is only integer and float. Okay, I will continue regarding the character. Let's say we have a character, and imagine that I want to use employee ID as a character. So character EMP ID stand for the employee ID equal to. Remember that whenever I say about a string, it's considered as a multiple of character. It's more than one character. In Malay we call it aksara. Okay, let's say I'll put here UMP 1001 semicolon. Right. So this is the way how we can declare a string. A string is a multiple of character. Okay. So since we have multiple of character here, okay. So if we declare like this one, character employee ID, this one is only apply for one character only, a single character only. Like we have here something like this, character and code equal to, let's say I want to have a code here is A. Okay. So for single character, this is the way how we can declare a single character. Either you can use a double quote or single quote here is applicable. But the best way here is for single quote by using on single character here is by using a single quote like this one. So A will be stored into this variable, okay, of code. So how we can want to display this variable of code and employee ID? So since employee ID we can have multiple of character 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 character, and this 7 character is reflect to the size of the string. We need to put here a bracket, a square bracket that represent how many characters that we want to accept to be stored in this identifier of variable employee ID. So let's say, imagine that, okay? This one will reflect to the database knowledge. You want to declare one attribute in the database, and the size of the attribute is fixed. And imagine that that attribute is matrix ID. Okay, try to look back on your student matrix ID. So matrix ID will have a fixed size of it. Okay, so we can set this one if you think that the length of this ID is fixed. So we can fix the size of it into like 8 or 7. 8 or 7, something like that. Okay, but to be safe is plus 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plus 1. Okay, because the plus 1 here is reflect to the what we call it the slash n, we call it as a null character at the end of it. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Null character is 8. Okay, we try to write a program. Okay, we don't have anything here because we don't display the value of code and apply ID. Right now, we try to display slash n printf so put this and ID is something like that. So we can combine two identifier in the same output. That is one. Let's say you want to have your code A and also ID UMP like this one. So you need to design this one as a %C. So what is the %C here is a single character. Okay. So if you want to use %C here for this one without any square bracket that represent the size of the character. And this one will be percent %s. And this is why I'm saying is answering your question just now, your friend's question, how we can declare a string. This one, %s. Remember, string is a multiple of character, more than one character. So comma, quote, since we have two identifier here, sorry, two modifier here, %C they reflect to the code, comma, %S reflect to the employee, EMP, ID. So you don't need to state the square bracket here because we only have one dimensions of string here. Okay, right? We run the program. You have the output. Your code is A and ID is UMP1001. Okay, hopefully answering your friend's question just now. Okay, so right now we do for the output. Okay, we do some of the outputs. How we can do for the inputs. But before we do the inputs, I want to share you a very useful platform. And the name of the platform here is this one. Okay, I share the links in here so you can create your own account. Yeah, you can create your own account. And inside here, I have a several of codes that I can share to all of you. Okay, for example, the basic C, and let's say I want to share with you input and output. Okay, so I have a multiple of files here, right? So this is an example of the code that I have here, and I can share this code to you. Okay, I can click on the share button at the top right corner of the screen here, share, copy, and I can share to all of you. Okay, so you can click the link that I stated in the chatting just now, and you can see my codes. Okay, anything I do some updates in the codes, you can see right away. Right, even you can run the program. So if you click on the run here, you can have C program. Okay, let's say I want to share another things here. So input as an integer. Okay, like this one. I share the code, copy, and this one. Okay, you can click the link that I given in there, and you can try to run the program to see what is happening inside here. Okay, so right now I run the program, and I have a variable declaration here, integer age is equal to 33, and I print out the output based on the fixed value in this line number 5. Okay, and then the next line here is line number 8, and this is how we can request the user to key in a value, okay, by using the scanf functions. So the scanf function here, okay, is the statement that we can use in order to scan or read any value that key in by using the keyboard enter. Okay, so enter your age. Let's say my age is actually is 50, for example. It's not a real age for me. The age is 50. So right after I enter 50, the current value of 33 will be replaced. So this is another what we call reassignment. Okay, reassign a new number from the fixed value that we state in the program. Right. So what is inside the scanf here? So scanf here will have two parameters. The first one here is the identifier, similar things that we have in the printf function just now. Okay, this one. So you must put the modifier of this data type variable of age is integer as a %d or %i that reflects to data type for the age, comma. Second parameter here is the address of the variables. So what is the address of the variable here? Okay, you can print out the address of the variables here. You want to know, okay, I want to know what is the address of the variable that placed in your machines. You can use, okay, so ampersand symbol, I call it so as an ampersand symbol, is referred to the address of something. Okay, right now we have ampersand age is the address of the age. So what is happening here? Okay, whenever I run the program, it will request you enter your age. I enter 50, 50. So 50 will be placed in the address of variable age here. So that's why we need to have the address, the ampersand here. You cannot missing this one for the integer. Okay. Okay, let's say you want to print out the address of the address of variable age, please. Let's say, and this one is just example. If you want to know the address of it, and you need to use instead of age here is the value of the degree. Okay, but you need to put the ampersand here in order to access the address of it. Okay. Let's say, is it percent I? I think. Okay, we try to run. Can be run. Basically, can be run. I want to run in here. Okay, let's say I want to run in here. Age here, %age. Okay, run the program. Okay, so your age is %d. Instead of I access the value of the age, I want to access the address of it. So the address of the age here is 6356724. Right. So back to the program again. So this one, okay, what is happening here? I want to place 50. Okay, I want to place 50, value of 50 here to the address of just now. So this is what happening. Okay. So another code here is input character. I will share to all of you. Right. So this is an example of the input. Okay. Just now we learned about the output only. So how we can enter an input here. So for example, you can run the program, enter a character. So character here is only single character. Let's say X. Okay, you have enter character X, right? So enter your full name. Let's say full name here Muhammad. Okay. So enter. So your name is here is Muhammad. Right. Okay. So how we can design this program by accepting a single character and multiple character? You can try to look on this one. Okay, so character char ch here, enter a character. If you want to design only accept one character here, we can use the %c as a modifier in the scanf. Okay, address of ch, right? And this is the output once you already enter single character. Multiple character here, for example, multiple character use Zamri as the input. Later I will later I will show you how we can input more than one words. Okay, for example, my full name here is Muhammad Zamri bin Osman, and Muhammad Zamri Osman as a string being accepted as a string and being displayed. Right now, if you run the program, okay, hit the X here, put Muhammad Zamri Osman, right? So your name is only Muhammad because of what? Okay, so the thing is that if we are using scanf %s here, all right, and there's different things between a single character and multiple character. So if you are using single character, place the ampersand in this symbol. But if you are using for the multiple of character here, no need to place the ampersand here, because this one is reflects to the name here, square bracket, and the size of 60 here. We already have the address of it, okay, and being pointed to the next character. Okay, let's say for example, the first character is Z, Z, and it will point to the next address of this string is AMRI. It's adjacency. Okay, what is your neighbors after Z is A, neighbors of M is R, neighbors of R is I, right? So that is happening what in the what you call in the address itself. Okay, in the address itself. For example, like this one, I go back to the coplo, and I want to have the address of this one instead of this one, let's say, and I want to place printf address of, let's say, for example, emp. I do the first character. First character, I want to use 0 like this one. %d, and we need to use empid bracket 0 here. Okay, let's say I want to try this one. Either I can find the address of it or not. Sorry, percent n/n. Okay, so I have the address of it. The address of emp, the first character. Okay, remember that whenever we do the some kind of the array, okay, it will start from 0. So array number 1, U here, the address is 6356716. Okay, let's say I want to print out the other address of it. Okay, so I put 1 that reflects to the M here. Okay, I'll put 1 here. All right, this one is only the text only. This one is how we can access the elements inside the strings itself. Okay, I'll run the program. Okay, like I mentioned just now, it will be the neighbor of the address. Okay, so U character here, the address is 6356716. But what is the neighbors is after M? The neighbors, the address neighbors of M here is 6356717. It's besides of the character itself. All right. If you want to look for another one here, address for the character number 3. Okay, this one is U. This was M. This one is P. Got it? Okay, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so this is what happening here is being pointed to the next address. So that's why in the input statement for line number 14 here, we don't have any the address of this one. Okay, because it will get some. Okay, format specifies type character. Star here means that the pointer, but the argument has the character with this one. So we just remove like this one only, right? Okay, so how we can accept a multiple of words that in a real situation, names, subject name, okay, like that. So you need to find out, okay, how we can modify, how we can accept multiple of words like a full name, and we can display Muhammad Zamri Osman in the output that we have here, right? Okay, so the benefit of using this one, okay, the replicate here is you can annotate any things that inside this code. For example, like this one. Okay, I highlight and annotate. Okay, let's say for example, this is character variable declaration. Okay, something like that. And you other one can see for this one. If I share this code, you cannot see my annotation in here. Okay, unless you create a team. Okay, for your mini project, you need to collaborate with the other. Okay, by using the invite. Okay, so this platform, you don't need to install the software. Okay, but you need to have the internet connectivity in order to run the program and make it successful. Okay. I have multiple of code here. Okay, let's say this one is an example of the multiple inputs. Okay, imagine that you want to accept more than one input in one line. Okay, for example, okay, we should to share this one. Copy. Okay, now, okay, you can look my code there. So what is happening here? So I write the program, enter two numbers. Let's say 14 and 25. So make sure that you place empty space between two numbers here. Let's say 14 and 23. All right. So this is the way that we have here. So even though I said just now there are two parameters, of course it's two parameters. This is the first parameter and this is the second parameter. So it's not necessary that you want to place only one we call the modifier in one parameter. You can have more than one parameter, more than one modifier in one parameter. Okay, this one. Okay, run, enter. So you have enter 14 and 23. Right? Okay. So now already 10 a.m. So I want to stop right now. If you have any questions, so you just contact me regarding this one. Okay, and later I will try to show you how to use this replit for your purpose for your own uh, reference. And I can say that this one is not only for your programming technique, but it can be useful for your the other subject as well, because this platform is not only for the C program. If you look on this one, okay, just go back and you create a new replit here, click new. You can say that it can be Java, Python, C++, Ruby, HTML, Go language, Haskell, Kotlin. There's a lot of programming language available, right? Okay, so it is very useful in order to collaborate with other students. If you want to, let's say you want to share your codes, instead of you share in the WhatsApp group, you can share the code in the Replit, right? Okay. So I want to go back to your, is there any question regarding this one? So I open to the questions. So if you don't have any questions, so I just end our session and I will try to share the codes in the recorded versions to you later. All right. So that's all for today. I'm covering two topics, which is the introduction to programming and input and output. So later, by time to time, I will try to share you any materials that be suitable for your understanding. All right. Okay. Thank you very much, and see you by this coming Friday for your lab session.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
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 Thank you, sir.